Aloha, everybody. Welcome back. It's Marissa Indigo. I'm here in this beautiful field for spring, just enjoying and totally reveling in all these fabulous spring energies that are coming forth here on the Northern Hemisphere in the month of April. I hope you all are doing just amazing and just really being able to pause and tune in to the inner realms and just feel this energy all around us. Today, I am so excited to share this topic of divine neutrality, a wonderful self-mastery skill that I have been looking forward to sharing for some time. Before we dive into divine neutrality, I want to share the most exciting new project that I have birthed, Lightbody Prana Yoga. If any of you are looking for support in your physical body and your embodiment process to come more into the body, to learn how to breathe and move energy, have so much fun working with these shamanic codes that are stored in the body, ancestral clearing, working with prana, all of these beautiful gifts that we have being in the physical body, then please check out the information below for my new offering, Lightbody Prana Yoga. So I'm starting with a 6-week course that is to come on New Earth One Network at the end of April. And I'm actually going to be having a community online where we do class together twice a week. And then we have a monthly community call if you're interested in the community offerings. I'm also setting up my YouTube channel for Lightbody Prana Yoga. That will be coming soon. So you can look for really great information and different sequences to work with different aspects of the body and themes that are coming up. So this is going to be working with the energies as they're presenting themselves in our experience so we can make the most out of it. Divine neutrality is such a beautiful and empowering mastery skill that I'm so excited to share with you all. It's a practice, it's a process of building an internal reserve, a sense of strength, a source of spiritual and energetic and physical, mental and emotional immunity to external influences. So let's dive in. Hi, everyone. I'm so passionate about the topic of divine neutrality, and I've been thinking and meditating on this subject for quite some time, just to bring forth the most authentic, raw, simplified version. Divine neutrality is a mastery skill where we start to practice being the neutral observer or the witness. And in the ancient Vedic scriptures, they talked about being the knower of the field. The rishis talked about being the knower of the field, meaning that you start to understand and understand that all of the senses of the 3D world that are pulling our attention outwards into the external are part of the Maya, part of the illusion, where we are over identifying with the external reality and thus completely missing the actuality of our identity, of our infinite, expansive soul beingness. So I wanted to start by talking about what divine neutrality is and trying to just give you a feeling, a sensation. Divine neutrality is the blank slate, meaning that you are able to witness and be a part of situations, conversations, what have you, that under ordinary circumstances would be triggering, perhaps, or cause some kind of an emotional response or reactivity. And you find that you have such pure peace within that you have this reserve because you've cultivated it over time with practices such as meditation. There are many different ways to reach that space of divine neutrality, to experience it. And then once we know what it feels like, we can cultivate as our practice, knowing what works best for us and who we are and how we function and our lives too. You know, what are our needs? Do we have families? All of these things have to be taken into account. So essentially, divine neutrality is a mastery skill. It's our true beingness where we are the witness to whatever is happening, or, you know, whatever it is that's going on. Even if it's our own stuff coming up on the inside, we're watching and we're noticing our emotional response or whatever is happening in the moment, where we are able to take a pause and to identify not with the trigger per se or the emotion and then respond from that space. So that's the wounded human ego fragment. But to see, oh, look, this is arising for me. Let me step back and be the observer watching what is arising. So it's a skill set of growing kind of a holographic view of different aspects of our beingness and being able to determine in the moment, oh, that's coming from maybe my wounded child, or, my lack consciousness from my human ego aspect is arising. So that's why this is such an important mastery skill, and it continues to become more relevant. 2020 was really the initiation for all of us, the invitation to begin to exercise divine neutrality, because what happened so vastly in 2020 was a lot of separation of people based on their belief systems, a lot of emotional responses, judgments, finger pointing, all of this, rather than owning that what someone believes is true for them and it doesn't need to affect us. We're letting it, right? We're letting that be a distraction from our pure presence and what we believe is true for us, and really starting to come to a place of honor, sacred respect, and honoring of where everyone is coming from, their belief systems, their actions, everything is based on their own soul matrix. It has nothing to do with us. So you can start to see how the opposite of divine neutrality, which is over identifying with the external or allowing ourselves to be impacted by the beliefs and feelings or actions of other people at a certain level, it's all an ego game. It's all a distraction from the pure source self. Because if we are full, if we are connected within in this divine neutrality, nothing external can affect us or take our power. So that's why this is such just a vast mastery skill that I'm so excited to share with you all, because 2021 is another level of this divine neutrality. A great example right now is looking at the belief systems in the collectives in regards to getting the jab and who's getting it, who's not getting it. And there's so much discussion right now all over all the social medias. Oh, I can't believe they're doing it. I can't, and it's like, again, people, don't worry about what other people are doing. Worry about yourself. Worry about your own, and again, that's not even a worry, but reprioritize your focus back to the ins, because what's going to enable the shift into the golden age to expedite and happen much more quickly, beautifully, easily for all people is through divine neutrality. Honoring where someone else is, honoring that they are allowed to make their own decisions and come to their own conclusions as a sovereign being, and so are we. So, with that in mind, I want to share some visuals and some feelings, and just trying to give you an embodied understanding. So, embodiment from emotions and the mind and the body all together of what divine neutrality feels like. So, my first glimpses of divine neutrality, which was a complete silence in the mind, where there wasn't any looping, there wasn't any judging or any critical thoughts or any unpleasant emotion within me. My mind felt as open and as expansive as the sky. And the first ways that I began to experience this that I can remember were when I was really little, playing outside in nature with the elements and with the plants and just having a great time, or snorkeling in the ocean. There are moments of stillness that maybe we can remember from childhood where we were just in pure presence and enjoying playing, or moments like that of just this stillness where we were really feeling that unity consciousness connection and feeling so satisfied and joyous. So there's childhood memories you may have. So I invite you to just kind of go inside your mind and just feel, when did I feel, really great and full and connected? Other great examples is I grew up, divine neutrality became less and less as there was a lot going on, a lot to process, and I didn't have the skill sets yet to do so. So I threw myself into academics and school. And then as I came into my young adult years, I discovered yoga, and that was at 18. And so for me, I was trying to learn how to meditate, and it was really hard because there wasn't a lot of information out yet on how to meditate or what it even meant. And it was kind of clouded in these veils of, unreachableness. And it was like very frustrating. So for me personally, with my energy and my energetic makeup, my dosha, I needed a physical outlet to reduce the noise. So rigorous exercise or doing yoga, something where there was a lot of movement of energy, it helped me to get completely out of my head and into the body. And I would notice after doing my yoga practice, oh my gosh, like there's so much stillness in my mind and in my heart. My heart feels open and I don't have any judgment or any of those disconnected feelings, which are ultimately are being separated from source. So anything that is not kind and loving and feeling generous and abundance, that's our separation from source energy. That's our human ego wounding, fragmented off, living small space, which many of us were very familiar with that because that's where we come from. That's the initial experience in the earth walk here. So for me, the snippets of divine neutrality came after yoga. Finally, when I was learning how to meditate, finally starting to feel that stillness, but it took a lot of work for me to feel that divine neutrality. And so this is where I just want to be completely open and raw and just say that divine neutrality is something that it does take work because we are unraveling all that happened in this life and maybe others as well that is running in the background, looping the subconscious, which is deterring our focus from the purity within, from the divine love and radiance that is true. And there's a lot of distractions, of course, out in the world around us. We're pelted more than ever with notifications and loud noises and all kinds of stimuli that are external, that are utilizing that Maya. Again, the ancients knew that our senses were going to be part of the manipulation of our consciousness because people wouldn't know to go inside because they're so pulled outside. It's a very powerful spell. And so this is part of the awakening process that's beautiful and really powerful for so many right now. And that's why I was just like, okay, it's time. I finally am having the verbiage come through to share divine neutrality with you all. So you start to build this pure peace, this pure presence within. And initially, yeah, it is going to take work because you're learning a whole new way to function. We're unlearning how we functioned before and coming into a state of relaxation and expansion. And we have to feel safe and comfortable. So you see how just the process of meditation or doing any practice which starts to cultivate stillness and mindfulness in the moment, the first thing that's going to happen is all of our shit is going to come up to the surface. So the divine witness, divine neutrality is your soul-based view of everything around you. And it's a higher level view where you're seeing all of the mechanics. You're having deep, loving compassion for everyone and where they are because you can see where they are based on their level of consciousness. This is your source level God consciousness, your soul connected consciousness. This is inherent for each and every one of us. However, we have to be consistent with our practice to work towards hearing again so that there is silence within and we can get back to the purity and be the divine witness in divine neutrality. So some of the practices I wanted to share in order to help you to start to cultivate divine neutrality, really you have to go within and you have to see what are my needs, what helps me feel grounded and calm and safe, where I can then expand. For some of us, it's going to be exercise. We have to have some rigorous exercise in order to quiet the mind. Some people have a very easy time with meditation. So there are many different styles of meditation depending on how active your mind is and what is present for you. If you've got a lot of emotions running, a lot of thought forms running. So there's mantra, where you're chanting mantras over and over. This is very powerful for people who have a scattered or anxious energy and it's hard to focus because you are repeating sounds. So it's activating and it's tuning you vibrationally to these sacred sounds and then helping you to focus the mind because you're giving it a couple things to work on. Some people, the breath, the pranayama, just tuning into your breath and starting to listen to your breath. Or you could just sit and listen to a sound like the birds that are singing so beautifully right now for spring. Other people need more of an active walking meditation. So you can go out in nature, go out in your neighborhood, wherever is lovely, and just take it all in and stop thinking and just start taking in the details of your environment. So this is where you're using your senses to work for you instead of against you, where you're taking in the smells, you're taking in the sights, you're taking in all the sounds that you're hearing and the sensations on your skin of the sun or the breeze, whatever it is. If it's snowy where you are, you're feeling the snow. So you're having a tactile embodied experience in the immediate now moment. And that's accessing that 0 point technology that we all have access to. So what I really want to embellish here is that divine neutrality is all of our inherent beingness. It's our natural divine birthright to be in such a deep peace, but we have to cultivate it. And then once you've started to cultivate this as a regular, you'll notice you've got to do daily maintenance. So what we're doing is we're clearing over time all of the old, which is going to arise once you start invoking pure presence and pure peace and stillness, and the mind is not bombarded with intel and distraction. Then all of the old will start to bubble up. And this is that conscious clearing practice. So you have to reveal and release all of the old to then be truly in the now, because the old is baggage that will follow you until you review it. And so it's like people that are always on the run from themselves. Everywhere you go, there you are. So it's time to just sit and witness. If you need support with this is what I do in my sessions with people. So yoga was for me, for my unity consciousness, for my ability to reach divine neutrality. So through the years with embodiment practices and learning how to work with all of the light codes that are coming in, I developed Lightbody Prana Yoga as a very gentle and yin practice of stretching and breathing and working with the quantum energies. So we're working with prana and we're working with cellular memory stored here in the tissues. They say, the issues are in the tissues. So a lot of the divine neutrality practices can be very physical, and this is the one that I'm offering. There's details below in the description box. I'm starting a 6-week class at the end of April online, and we're going to target body part by body part, system by system, doing this light body prana yoga, where we're stretching and breathing open and seeing what's in the tissue there, what memories are stored, so that we can be completely clear conduits to receive the new light that is here to enter new earth. So I hope that this has been effective to start to give you guys some ideas about how to obtain divine neutrality. Essentially, I would like to transmit some codes for you now so that you can start to feel what divine neutrality could feel like. So if you want to sit or lay down and just close your eyes and just think back to a time, an experience, a place, an encounter where you just felt so much peace and beauty and joy, and you felt like you had everything in the world, so to speak. There was such a sense of deep satisfaction. You felt the richness of the moment, the simplicity of the moment, and how full it is. And in that satisfaction, you realize you want for nothing, because you have everything you need, and you will always have everything that you need. And you can honor in your own fullness and your own abundance and sense of connectivity and deep, pure peace. You can offer that vibration, that sensation of truth, of soul-based living to all those around you. So instead of the external creeping in to your fields and impacting your experience adversely, your cup is so full that it runs over and flows into the entire grid, the environment, the community, all those you encounter. And this is part of our divine service work here, is to start to activate that within ourselves and bring it. And the more of us that have that heart courage, that heart fire to say, yes, I want to learn divine neutrality, which really just means remembering, because that's your innate state, what we came in with here when we incarnated. And I'd love to know how you guys like to find pure peace. What just brings you joy? It can be the most simple things. It can be snuggling with your pets or petting them. It can be going outside and observing, sweet people that are out, like families, and having fun. Children asking awesome questions, the young children asking questions and wanting to learn. And you can see these beautiful human relations of love and community, the colors of nature as spring blooms all around us. There's so many ways to find this pleasure that is very simple, that's all around us. And that's the truth. That's new earth. That's the abundance. It's not what anything is saying on the TV right now. Any of the fear programs, any of that. That's all artificial intelligence. It's AI. So when you start to look at divine neutrality and understand that this is your innate function as a conscious being here, as a God spark in physical form, then you can start to understand and understand and then welcome your truth of divine neutrality and forsake the artificial for the organic. So I just want to thank you all so much for joining me today. It's been so nice to see you. It's been a bit since I've done a video one-on-one with you all, and I've been looking forward to this, just having to roll with the energies, and whatever they ask of me, I'm a conduit for the energies, as are you all. And so this is my full-time job, if you will, is being pure presence as best I can, doing my work to maintain that clarity and receiving codes, receiving intel. So I'm just so excited to be able to share this with you from this place of love. I honor you. Please leave any questions or comments below, and I hope to see you soon. Namaste.